So it's been a beautiful day for Tesla stock, and in this video I want to go ahead and touch on some of the recent macroeconomic updates that we've seen that's influencing this huge move for Tesla stock. We'll also touch on Tesla from a technical perspective, but also kind of provide an update that we recently seen for Tesla, because of course at the end of the day, regardless if you're trading or investing in the short term or long term, you have to understand what the underlying company is doing. And we have some pretty positive updates for Tesla that I want to go ahead and share with you guys. Now, this morning I did do a live stream. I don't often do live streams, but I did one because I want to foster a more synchronous community. And in that live stream, it was Jerome Powell doing his annual Jackson Hole Symposium. And as you can see from this New York Times article, Powell sends strongest signal yet that interest rates are coming. So that was pretty bullish. Now, if we go ahead and scroll down from the article, the quote that I think is the biggest point that kind of shifts to this idea that we're going to have rate cuts is when Powell said, "The shifting balance of risk may warrant adjusting our policy stance." So pretty interesting. Now, when I did my live stream, I showed how earlier there was only like a 73% chance that we were likely to have rate cuts in September, but since then it's increased to 85%, right? So this is what the future markets are betting on. It's an 85% chance that we are going to get rate cuts in September, and of course that's causing Tesla stock to pop up. I mean, it's causing the overall market to pop up. Look at this. We had about 5 consecutive days of the market going downwards, and we ended up seeing now this huge big bullish candle going upwards, actually hitting new all-time highs, by the way. Just realized that, new all-time highs because of this news. Now, one of the things I pointed out for those that are insiders at Push and Profit Research was that despite the market falling down, right, the S&P 500 was falling down, it wasn't that the overall market was falling down, it was really that tech was selling off. Because I pointed out that when we take a look at RSP, which is the S&P 500 equally weighted, it actually wasn't falling down. And that's because different sectors like healthcare, right, which is XLV as the ETF, was making new highs, financials were making new highs, all these different sectors in the S&P 500 were hitting new highs except for tech. But guess what? Now, with rate cuts, everything's pushing up, including Tesla. And so from a technical perspective, this is really exciting because one of the things we talked about in a previous video was how Tesla stock broke out, right? But then we ended up not really having any other catalyst for Tesla, started falling down. There wasn't really anything of any substance that was holding Tesla stock upwards until now, where we have this update of possible monetary policies shifting to a less restrictive environment, which is great because, of course, lower interest rates would then translate to people looking to finance cars. Remember, most people that buy cars, they don't buy it cash, right? Look, I'm gonna be honest, when I bought my vehicle, I didn't buy it cash, right? I financed it, right? Just like most people are going to finance. And you watching this video, you probably finance your vehicle. And so with interest rates looking to get cut and become less restrictive, well, guess what? Eventually that's gonna translate to people financing at a lower rate as well, because the federal funds rate is going to influence those interest rates. And that's pretty bullish for a company like Tesla, which is very rate sensitive. So good news, right? And so we broke back out. And one of the things that's pretty interesting is that when we take a look at Tesla, we're now heading in the direction where there's less volume relative to price. So if we continue to see this buying, take place for Tesla stock, well, guess what? That means we're going to enter into an area with lower volume relative to price, which means that the order books could push up quickly, right? Because there's less people with already having orders around this area. So we could see a quick, fast move for Tesla stock. And we also see that the directional movement index is also starting to curl up. So there's strength in this move. There's a lot of strength in this move. Now, do I think Tesla stock is going to hit new all-time highs in the short term? I am not in that camp. And before you say, "Oh, Justin, what is wrong with you? Look, Tesla's gonna, make new all-time highs. They're gonna hit $5,000 per share." Hold on. I'm not saying that that's not a possibility in the future. I'm just saying, look, in the near term, I don't think Tesla's gonna break above $488, right? The high that we saw back in December. Now, is it possible that Tesla can go to 380? Yeah, I think that that's still a possibility, although we still need more changes from the company fundamentally. And I know people, every time I say that, they're like, Justin, you're not looking at the robo-taxis are doing, you're not looking at Optimus. They opened up a diner and Optimus is serving popcorn. Look, we need something that is, it's all this stuff is great, these minimal increases in robot. We need something that is a huge change for the company, and we do have something that likely could lead to that, right? So I don't want people to paint me as this Tesla bear, right? That's oftentimes how people paint me, right? Which is crazy, because when Tesla's pushing up, I'm the first to tell you, look, Tesla's gonna make a big move. Just like in this video, I think there's a huge chance that Tesla can go back to 480, right? But I always get painted as a Tesla bear because I'm not like the uber Tesla bull. I'm not saying, hey, put everything into Tesla, right? Because that's foolish. I'm not going to put my whole life savings in Tesla. That's not how you manage a portfolio, right? It is what it is. But what is it that I do want to share, right? Well, something that I talked about before was this, right? So we have this letter saying that Tesla is now showing how when you share your feedback about the vehicle, etc., they're now going to give you this confirmation number that your feedback is registered. Now, this is really important, and I talked about this in a previous video, how the feedback loop for FSD is going to be vital for the improvement for it, because one of the things, I gave kind of like a little bit of a background story. I talked about how when I was working at this, I'm not going to say the company, right? Large financial institution, and they were implementing AI tools. I was lucky enough to be part of the pilot program, right? By the way, I'm not a tech guy. I say this. I don't know how to program. I don't know how to develop software, but I was part of the pilot program to go ahead and, help talk about the feedback and really enhance the AI tool. And once that feedback loop was created, my goodness, like the improvement of the AI tool for this firm just increased dramatically, right? Because now when you have human input saying, hey, look, this was wrong, this was bad, the AI models then kind of just they kind of feed on top of this information and they improve, right? And so if we could finally have more feedback kind of just registered for FSD, well, that's great, because we could see a huge advancement for FSD, and that's good for the idea of fully autonomous vehicles. Now, do I think that's in the near term? I don't think so, but we are headed in the right direction. I'm not going to deny that we're not heading in the correct direction. Now, also something that was pretty interesting that I want to share. Now, I'm not here to get political, but Trump just a little while ago said, look, Powell should have cut rates a year ago. It's too late for Powell to signal a rate cut now. So, although we had a victory of now Powell kind of suggesting rate cuts, President Donald Trump is saying, look, too late. Now, I don't know if this is President Trump trying to bully Powell to maybe do a higher rate cut, right? Because the idea is that we're likely to get a 25 basis point cut. Maybe Trump is like, okay, well, I bullied him enough, right, to, look into the possibility of cutting. Maybe if I kind of bully him online a little bit more, Trump is good at that, right? He's like, maybe, and this is just my speculation, maybe Trump is saying, if I just keep saying this, maybe Powell will consider cutting even further. Now, do I think that's likely to happen? I don't think so. I don't think Powell is going to cut by 50 basis points or 75 basis point in September. I think it's possible that we get not only the rate cut in September, but also a few more by the end of the year. And so maybe that's what Trump's objective is. Hey, let me just keep calling him too late Powell, despite Powell actually finally doing what Trump has been demanding of him for a while. So, again, not here to get political. I'm not team red, team blue, team green, whatever, right? We just have to understand that the political environment can definitely alternate the direction of the market, as there's some things that just have some impact. And of course, rates have an impact on companies, and this is very evident, right? I mean, you guys see for yourself with your own two eyes here how the market is at new all-time highs because of the announcement from today from Powell, right? So it's just something I wanted to share. Now, I do also want to share that we have a massive discount code for those that are interested in joining the Push and Profit Research Insider Group. For just $14 a month, you could cancel at any time, right? It's a huge sale. Coupon code JPAL, right? You'll get access to my daily briefings. I share trade ideas, and we had a lot of great trade ideas, right? And you also get access to the community where other members also share their ideas, and we kind of just collaborate and talk about what's going on with the market. So if you're you're interested, it's going to be one of the links in the description down below. But I want you guys, I want you watching to let me know, do you think Tesla stock is going to go to 380, and do you think we're actually going to break above it, or are we actually going to just get rejected? Now, again, there's a lot of things working in Tesla's favor. The macroeconomic environment is great. We're now above the breakout area for Tesla here. We also have the directional movement index curling upwards, little volume relative to price. So a lot of good things in your favor for Tesla stock, right? We just need a few more catalysts. And don't forget, Elon Musk had alluded that there was going to be a massive update with FSD, where it's going to be 10x in terms of the parameters of improvement. So we'll have to wait and see. But you guys let me know in the comment section below. Also, like the video. I often forget to say this, on YouTube. I'm not the best YouTuber, right? I don't know how to play the game, right? But if you can like the video, it really does help out with the algorithm. And before you guys go, make sure to watch this video right over here, and I'll see you guys on that next video. Take care, guys.